The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time, about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading. And we have markets picking up almost right where we closed on Friday. Higher price right near the highs of Friday afternoon. You see the dip to lower price overnight. We were down to about 55.15 in the S&Ps. We get it all back. We're positive by 6 points, trading at 55.56 coming into the opening bell. NASDAQ 100, we're up by 18 points. You see the slide. Overnight, we were about 150 points lower at one point, and here we are right at the close of Friday action, 19,553. The Dow up by 68 points, or almost 0.2%. The Russell up by 1 point. We jump down to gold, back above $3,300, $3,304. Gold up by $5. Notes and bonds. We'll go back to a daily. We'll take that off. We got to update that one. And we're talking about the 10-year right now. Negative by 5 ticks. A little bit of higher price of, a little bit of lower price, higher yield, 4.29 to get there, 4.29. So basically right at 4.3%. You see, though, bumping up to an area. These were the highs we had back there in March. You did spike all the way to 114 and then down to 109 when the tariffs were just getting started. And we're right back to where we were at the end of March right now. 4.3% the yield on the 10-year. We keep our eye on the dollar. A little bit of weakness yet again. Dollar retesting that 100 area. You break below there on April 21st, and we're just chopping around. 99.60 right now on the dollar. So we get the dollar at 99.60. We get the 10-year at about 4.3% right now. And you got a gold contract up about $4 at $3,300 and change. You jump over to silver right now. Yeah, silver's a tough one, man. You know, the gold report for the week's coming out in a moment, folks. Finished it. They're just publishing it as we speak. And, yeah, these silver stocks, man, it is a tough one. I mean, you just look at it. We'll kick it off. You take a look at company like First Majestic, and I'm just cherry picking, all right? But look at this equity, all right? Compared to, let me see which ones kick it off. Anyway, silver continuing to lag, and you see it in the silver price right now. Even with gold pulling back $200 from the highs, that's your charted silver right now, trading at $33.27, well off the highs at $35, still well off the highs we made last year in October of $35.07 for silver. We jump over to the VIX this morning, 25.21, as the VIX continues to retreat, as we have low volatility priced into this market, as we've caught quite a bit. All right, and today's going to be an important one. So, this week is going to be an important one. We get the PCE on Wednesday, okay? So, you're getting core PCE, you're getting the Fed's preferred inflation gauge on Wednesday. You're getting non-farm payrolls on Friday for the month of April. You're looking for about 138,000 jobs added. You're looking for an unemployment rate to stay at about 4.2%. Okay, you're looking for average hourly earnings up about 0.3% for the month, and looking for year-over-year numbers of about 3.9%. Okay, and then we get the biggest tech earnings out there. Okay, on Wednesday, you're talking about Microsoft and Meta. On Thursday, you're talking about Apple and Amazon, along with many other companies. You're talking about McDonald's, CVS, Airbnb, MasterCard, Roblox, Caterpillar, Robinhood, Qualcomm, just jumping around. PayPal, Starbucks, Visa, UPS, Spotify. It's a huge week when you talk about earnings, inflation data, jobs data on Friday. And yeah. Yeah. All right, so all of that's going to come, and the earnings really kick into high gear on Wednesday. Now, we take a look at this market. Let's talk a little bit of price and volume. We go back to the S&Ps here. All right, let's put it back to a daily. Now, what we're coming into again is this low of March 13th. Okay, this first area, that's where we are. And that's a dicey area to come into the tech earnings with. Okay, we go big picture, we go fundamentals, we go technicals, we go price or volume here. I like to stay grounded in the technicals, in the fundamentals sometimes, but the technicals, they never lie. And that's an important technical area, man. Okay, we're right back to the lows of March. All we've done is caught a bid to get back to those lows. That's all we've done. We've reclaimed nothing of the losses from 6,100 down to 5,500. You had a 10% slide in equities over the period of less than 30 days, and now all we've come back to is test that. You look at the volume, okay? And we're going to go to S&Ps. We're going to go to NASDAQ as well. Let's hide that one. You go to the volume. Well, what do we got? Well, we have volume at the lows, that's for sure, okay? But on this rise here, the volume on Thursday and Friday was lackluster, to put it lightly. On the S&Ps, you had 1.35 million contracts, 1.27 million contracts. It's two of the lighter days in volume that we've had going back on Thursday and on Friday. And Thursday, we got some nice price expansion to the upside. All right? Now, yes, the day that you got the pause, we had some volume there. But since then, there really hasn't been the acceleration you might hope for. We're bumping up against this area, and it's going to be a little bit of a put up or shut up week in terms of those tech stocks, because all the hype, all the talk, okay, what's going to happen? Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon, what are they going to tell the market? They're big drivers of this market, let alone some of the other huge companies that are coming out. Airbnb is out on Thursday as well. All right, let's go down the line here real quick. Tuesday, okay, Coca-Cola, First Solar, JetBlue, PayPal, Pfizer, Starbucks, Snapchat, Spotify, UPS, Visa. Wednesday, Microsoft, Meta, Caterpillar, Humana, Hess, Qualcomm, Robinhood. Thursday, Apple, Meta, Airbnb, CVS, Eli Lilly, McDonald's, MasterCard, Roblox, Sirius, and Shake Shack. It's a bunch of companies that are going to matter, but those four, Apple, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft. All right, yeah, and you talk about some roller coasters. You jump over to Amazon shares. You're a little bit higher in the pre-market. Now, this blue line here, folks, on Amazon, 2021 prices. That's where we're chopping around right now on Amazon. 2021 prices. Now, in fairness, you're digesting gains where you traded from $16 up to $180 over the period of 4 or 5 years. Not outlandish when you almost get a 10-bagger, folks, that you have to digest some of this, okay? But, boy, that's a decisive area. We're chopping around. You break below there. What's below this technically? Poof, nothing. And I would love Amazon longer term. But technically right now, okay, you break below this area, which is an area that you had a consolidation. I mean, check it out, right? There's your consolidation. You could even stretch it a little bit further. You're talking about, what, over a year and a half, 2 years, you pushed that level before trading lower. We're coming back. That's currently acting as an area of support. Yeah, we will find out. So that's Amazon. We'll jump over to Apple shares. Longer term, they're back to where we were trading in 2021 on that low, but we're well off those lows. We'll come back. We'll talk some of the tech stocks, folks. We've got a lot to talk about. Don't go away. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. Markets in positive territory. I got a chart of IBM up here. IBM barely in the positive with the markets right now. You check out this equity, so they'll be on the focus today, as they announced that they're going to spend $150 billion to boost U.S. tech growth. That's over 5 years, including more than $30 billion to advance American manufacturing of its mainframe and quantum computers. So what's interesting is that I go over to ChatGPT at the break, right? And I say, tell me how much IBM produces in America versus abroad. Now, they are a globally integrated enterprise, as they put it. 2/3 of IBM's revenue is generated from markets outside the U.S. Not surprising. They have more employees in India than they do in the U.S. right now. Let me see if I can find exactly where ChatGPT is getting that. I wonder. You know what is amazing, though, when we jump around ChatGPT, Microsoft, is that they are already, and I know it's fast, but boy, this is going to be, this is basically breaking news. Okay, this is still breaking news, refresh or updates. This is just hitting, and ChatGPT already has it. Let's see. Yeah, pretty amazing that they're scanning the news already. So look at that. So you look at, I'll just pull the screen, okay? This is ChatGPT, and yeah, you can see that it already pulls that IBM's committed $150 billion in the U.S. over the next 5 years. Okay, now they're checking that right from a Reuters article from this morning. But boy, the future's going to be amazing when you can do things that quickly, right? But yeah, more employees in India than the U.S., reflecting its strategic emphasis on global talent and operations. Well, how's that going to square with $150 billion? I guess they can do both. But it's obviously a tightrope balancing act, right? That all these companies are trying to meander right now. And before they catch any heat for all the employees they have in India, they're coming out with a headline of $150 billion to the U.S., and we'll see if that gets follow through. We'll see if it matters. But nonetheless, no movement whatsoever from IBM. And that's where I want to focus on, okay? That is quite an announcement in light of the political atmosphere, the business atmosphere, the tariff atmosphere going on right now, and the stock doesn't even budge. What to take from that is there's no easy way to get in the graces of the tariffs right now, okay? Number one, the market's not reacting to that on the merits of it on its own, right? It's not saying, oh, that's great, you're investing $150 billion in capital expenditure, you're going to grow. No, it's not doing that. And it's also not reacting to say, oh, okay, well, you guys will be okay. No, there's no movement whatsoever on that type of announcement, which is revealing in and of itself. Yeah, $150 billion, $30 billion a year. But the devil's always in the details, and where are the details? And we'll find out. All right, we jump around to some of the equities. We already got Domino's out with their numbers. So Domino's, DPZ, Domino's Pizza. They're going to be down about $10 right now in the pre-market. You're trading at $477, $478. You see this equity, so not much of a huge give back. This equity's been particularly volatile in terms of we were down at this area, almost last week? Yeah, Tuesday. All right, you're chopping around at $476. And decent numbers, but they miss on revenue. Yeah. They were supposed to take in $1.13 billion. They take in $1.1. They make more money, but that's not what the market wants to see. Making more money than you expected by taking in less money than you expected. No, it's the other way around, right? You can't grow yourself by making more on less revenue. You take a longer term look at this equity. Yeah, look at the chop. Man, this thing was on fire, and now we've had quite a consolidation. Right? You're talking about pushing. We were at 2020. You were at 435. A lot of these equities, man, we had quite a run up to the highs of 2020, and we're just chopping around, digesting a lot of those gains. I mean, Domino's. How far back do you got to go? This thing. Stratospheric. $2 to $500, right? But even if you take the run from 2011, you're at 16, man, just stratospheric. But chopping around, digesting those gains. Okay, we go back to some of the tech companies with their numbers. All right, forgive me. All right, getting the exact companies. Okay, we're talking about. So Microsoft and Meta are on Wednesday. Okay, you take a look at Microsoft shares. And yeah, you're talking about bouncing off 2021 levels, right? 350, put it on your chart, man. Doesn't mean we're going to go back there, but that's an important technical area. Microsoft matches up to what Amazon is doing, right? Right where we are in 2020 even for Amazon. Microsoft, we're back to 2021. Look at these important technical areas we bounced on, okay? You jump over to Meta, different story on Meta with the run it's had. Meta, we're only back to where we were trading at about a year ago, okay? And then you jump over, as I mentioned, Amazon, trading back to where you were in 2020, out with their numbers on Thursday. And Apple back to where you were in 2022 on that bounce to 180. Let's jump to some other companies with their numbers as we got 5 minutes to go until the opening bell. Airbnb out with their numbers on Thursday as well. Let's take a longer term look at this equity. Yeah, it doesn't get much longer. You go public in 2020, and we're in a losing price since then. You know, one thing you do have to have your spikes up for, folks, is that there is no reason for these companies to go public anymore. I'm exaggerating, okay? But private equity, right? There is no reason for companies to go out to the public anymore when they can go to private investors for the money they need. You used to have to go to the market to have that type of liquidity, right? And yes, maybe you want to give your insiders the opportunity to sell. But in general, you don't have to do it to raise funds anymore, right? Private equity is everywhere. They'll buy into your private company versus having to go to the market. When is it time to go to the market? When it's time to go to the market is when all the smart investors have said, you might be peaking out. We've probably given you all the money that we need to give you. It's time to go to the public markets, okay? And you look at a stock like Airbnb, phenomenal company, okay? But you're talking about going public at a valuation. Come on, you're not pulling up. What do they go public at? All right, I'll pull it up. Fundamentals, there we go. What are we pushing? $76 billion right now. That is quite a valuation to live up to, and they've struggled to do it. Airbnb going to be out with their numbers on Thursday as well. Come back, folks. We'll talk some more equities. Don't go away. We're coming back for the opening bell.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. Excuse me. We got markets open. You got an S&P positive by 7 points, 55.57. NASDAQ 100. We just saw a red tick for a moment. We're positive by 8 right now. You take a look at the NASDAQ 100 on a daily basis. Now, let's go back a little bit for a second. This blue line here that we spiked down to, 2021 prices. Remarkable, right? The volatility we've had here in these markets. But nonetheless, we're almost 3,000 points, okay? The low there was 16,460. We are 3,000 points from that acceleration in the NASDAQ 100. And the reason why I stress it is we're coming into tech earnings. This is the week. Put up or shut up, man. What's going to happen? The tech earnings have to deliver, folks. NASDAQ 100, that's almost a 20% acceleration from that max pain situation at the bottom of where we were. Now, you could say that there was exacerbated selling. You could say that you had, irrational selling, okay? But nonetheless, you're talking about a 20% rally from the lows as we come into earnings season, and there's still a lot of volatility priced into this market, and we're right back to this technical area, which are the lows of March. On a volume basis, you can see the volume drying up as we've climbed higher, right? You had volume on the lows. We got a volume spike on the day that the tariffs got a reprieve. But since then, we've had volume drying up. Not really what you want, indicative of real strength in this market. Seems like people are stepping away for a bit. I mean, nothing wrong with stepping away for a bit if the selling has stopped. But the buying, not quite indicative of this type of strength you want in this type of market. All right, we jump around. IBM. Up about 0.6% right now. Domino's Pizza on their numbers, down about 1.89% right now. We jump to some of the tech stocks. Amazon, up by 0.5% right now. Apple shares, up by 0.2% right now. Meta shares, up by 0.7% right now. We jump over to NVIDIA, down by 1.2%. Tesla shares, up by 1.3%. Tesla with a little bit of a rally. Now, if you're buying Tesla, folks, the only thing I'll say is be careful of this area, right? You break above here, you might have a little bit of a move. We had some nice volume on that move on Friday. The market didn't have that type of volume. Tesla had some nice volume move on Friday. And you look at it on a 15 minutes, it was quite a run, right? From 260, we're pushing 288 right now, and you had volume on that move on Friday on Tesla shares. All right, let's jump around to a couple other stories. Have you seen this one? The bridge in China. Now, this is an old article, but I was reading about it. I just love this stuff, right? You get into it. It's absolutely remarkable the cost that they're doing, folks. Okay, $280 million to build this bridge. If you haven't seen this bridge, folks, go Google it. Okay, it is. Oh, shame on me. I don't even have the name up here. Yeah, the Huazhang Grand Canyon Bridge. Is that how I pronounce it? Huazhang Grand Canyon Bridge. It's almost 2 miles long, okay? It's going to be 200 meters higher than the Empire State Building. Whew. And it's going to cut the time from two different areas from over an hour to, a couple minutes, driving right over it. But $280 million to build this bridge. And it started in 2022. And the trusses that they have in here, the steel trusses weigh 22,000 metric tons, the equivalent of 3 Eiffel Towers. And they were supposedly installed in just 2 months. Whew. Supported by 2 main towers, which will stretch 262 meters or 860 feet in the air. So you got 1,000-foot, right, main towers that are going to hold the whole thing up. And they do it in about 4 years. It's 1,400 meters. And you're going over mountains. And they're going to have the world's biggest bungee jump. If you're you want an adrenaline rush, go for it, man. What is so remarkable is, and you know that, now, number one, they're using labor that is, especially when you're talking about working for the government, okay? That's when, China, it borders on slave labor, I'm sure, okay? And I'm sure that OSHA and the regulations involved in that bridge are not up to what they are in New York, okay? Or anywhere in America, thankfully, thank goodness, okay? And you're never going to get the reality of all the cost over there. But it is remarkable, folks. I mean, we got a 6-unit building in St. Pete that I'm thinking about building right now, a 6-unit just apartment building, okay? A 6-unit apartment building in St. Petersburg. I'm getting quotes right now. Beautiful build. My dad was working on this a lot. He's got the plans. They're basically permit ready. We're going out to people to build it. It's a beautiful all-block building. Going to be absolutely amazing. Top-notch quality. super safe when it comes to hurricanes, all that stuff, all block building, 4 stories, 6 units, okay? So 4 stories, all block, so a little bit more expensive than you went wood, but we're going for the best quality. 6 units, each of those units, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit at about 1,000 square feet. So not hugely decadent, okay, but decent units in a prime area of St. Petersburg, First Ave South, if you know the area, right off of Central. All right, point being, okay, those units in going through the negotiation right now, trying to get it down to maybe being able to build them at $350,000 a unit, maybe $400,000 a unit. The first quotes were coming in at $500 a unit, $550, $500 maybe. Folks, that's a $3 million build. And then you add on the land on top of it, okay? But that's a $3 million bid, and that probably wasn't going to work. And it can get lower, okay? It's quite a process. But point being, here, $3 million built you 6 condos, 6 apartments, okay? Yeah, over there, 90 times that, get you this bridge. I mean, it's just staggering what they can do on that. And that one, I mean, it's just cool from a humanity perspective. That is going to be quite a bridge and quite a bungee jump. But nonetheless, you're talking about 4 years. They get it done. They do it on $280 million. So, yeah, you know, the truth is always somewhere in between, folks. And we got to catch up with China, because if they can do that and we can't build anything for years, I get it. You know, the truth is always somewhere in between. And there's a lot of reality that goes with that in terms of streamlining things. But always remember, the truth is always somewhere in between in terms of, you know, what do you think labor laws are like over there? Okay, what do you think worker quality is like? What do you think safety was like on that bridge as it was getting built? Do you think we really know about all the events that happened if somebody got hurt over there? Okay, so there's nuances, there's edges and everything, but boy, quite an architectural feat, and $280 million. I mean, you know, everybody talks about expensive things these days. $280 million to build that bridge. What would that cost? You know, that would, and not to rant, but I don't know what that would cost in America if we ever tried to build something over the Grand Canyon like that right now. You know, you're talking about what, $10 billion, $20 billion, something bonkers, I'm sure. All right. All right. I had one more article that's not sports related. It is sports related. Why don't the NFL draft? How about Shedeur Sanders, man? How about that draft? Patriots got it done, man. We got a nice left tackle. We got a running back, right? Boom. And we got a quarterback. You got a left tackle. You got a running back. You got a quarterback. You need everything else. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit of Shedeur Sanders when we get back. Anecdotal. Everyone's fired up. But you can't help talk about when you drop to the 5th round and everybody was thinking you were going to be like a top 5 or top 10 pick. Not happening. Not just yet, but there's a lot that goes into that one. And everybody's got an opinion, of course. And a tough situation for that gentleman. But guess what? If he's meant to succeed in the NFL, hopefully he'll get it done. But boy, that was a tough weekend. 5th round. We'll talk about some of the numbers when we get back. S&P's up by 11. NASDAQ 100 off by 19. We're coming into a big week of earnings, folks. We'll come right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direction. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direction.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets in positive territory right now, and a great conversation on the YouTube Tigers Den talking about square footage, right? How much is it to build a square foot? And that's, you want to keep it up. How much is it to sell for a square foot? And of course, everything changes slightly, okay? If you're selling a 3,000 square foot home, okay, the price you get per square foot, right, might not be as much if you're selling 1,000 square foot sometimes as it goes to it, okay? But when you're talking about this 6 unit in particular, though, folks, there is so much that goes into when you cross the line to commercial, okay, and I've gotten quite an education myself in the last 6 months and years, but really the last 6 months, right, taking over everything. The commercial unit, you're talking about fire sprinklers, okay? You would not believe whether it's talking about the plans that have to go into it and then just the build-out. You got fire. Once you go commercial, you're talking about fire needs to be in there, okay? You're talking about parking is a different story. Sometimes you still need parking, even if you're building residential, but nonetheless parking. You're talking about handicap access. This is a commercial building. You now have to abide by many different rules that are above residential, okay? And it goes on and on down that line. Residential, you can build up to 4 units. So if somebody's getting in this game, okay, I'd encourage you. There's a lot you can do in great cities like St. Petersburg, okay? And I don't know Tampa as well. I've got properties in Tampa, but I don't know it because my dad wasn't building it out. You can build 3-4 units on many lots. You build a house, right? Maybe you build a duplex with an accessory dwelling unit, mother-in-law suite over the garage in the back, something like that, And the ADUs, okay, in St. Pete, they're a huge deal going on right now. And to give you a quick glimpse, I mean, it's not like, if you want a quality ADU, because my dad was building them. And if you're in the market, folks, give me a call, all right? We still got everything rocking. Tiger Construction, Tiger Real Estate, okay? Things are busy, and they're still going. But the ADUs, okay, which are usually a garage with an apartment on the top. You're looking at about a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, maybe 600 or 700 square foot apartment on the top. But granted, you're looking at a two-car garage on the bottom, at least, if not a 3-car garage on the bottom. That alone run you about $225,000, maybe $250,000. Okay, but you can see, right, on that type of a build, you're getting a 2-story complex. Okay, you're getting a block build, and you're getting that at about 700 square feet. Okay, at $250,000. But you're getting the first floor, and you don't need the first floor if you don't really want it. Okay, so there are areas to go into where you can build it a lot cheaper. But once you cross over that commercial line, okay, it is a different story. So, yeah, learn a lot. But how about that, right? Almost $2.5 to $3 million for a 6 unit. It makes sense, man, nowadays, right? You got to build, you go down the line, it's expensive build. But as we know, there's a lot that is expensive these days. We check out some of the home builders, though. This one's an intriguing one because at some price, I'd be a buyer of any equity, and at some price, I'd be a seller of any equity. And if you like Lennar at 193 last year coming into the election, then do you like it at half the price you're at right now? I don't know. I don't know if we're there yet, folks. Okay, and the reason why I say that is it's been quite a run from where we were in even 2018, 2019, 2020, okay, when housing was on fire in 2021. We're just back to where we were in 2021 on this equity. Folks, the housing market was on fire, right? Yeah, now it really accelerated recently when they were the only game in town because nobody else was building. But I don't know. That is not a Max Payne situation when you're telling me that we're at prices of 108 on Lennar. And this isn't spelling, horrible trouble for the housing market either, folks, okay? These companies were the only games in town, okay? Nobody else was building, and I'm exaggerating. My dad's building, people building. But I've seen these complexes go up around me in Lakeland, okay? I've talked about them. 1,800 homes going up on one development between Lennar and D.R. Horton. The two of them had to combine, and they just keep selling them. And you know why they do? Because they're not going to keep them on their books. Okay, they are selling them at the price they sell at. They're marking them down through incentives to buy down the rate, etc. But boy, if I'm looking at Lennar right now, you know where I'm looking? I'm looking at about $75. Yeah, and you're at 108. Yes, this is an attractive level, but look at the volume coming down still, right? We got volume this whole way down on a monthly. We back it up on a weekly on these home builders. All right, there's no strength here yet. Look at last week's volume on Lennar. Look at all this volume of selling and look at last week's. We need a little bit more momentum for these home builders. D.R. Horton, pretty similar story, right? You're at 199 to 125. That's a weekly. Let's take a look at the monthly volume. Yeah, look at this volume ramp up. It just keeps ramping up from the highs. Every week from the highs, the volume goes up as the stock goes down. That's quality volume on the way down, though, folks. Open your book of Time in the Trade if you have it, and that's what quality volume looks like as you ramp up. So these home builders, man, they're not there quite yet, and they get a lot of stuff from China, they get a lot of stuff from Canada, and we have uncertainty in this market right now, and boy, the biggest purchase of anyone's life is a home, and the last thing he wants is a little bit of uncertainty. So there's just going to be factors weighing on this market right now. Check out the tech stocks. Amazon holding on to gains. Apple barely in the green, up by about 0.9% right now. Microsoft slightly in the red by 0.3. Google, strong week on their numbers last week, and we're positive by 0.1%. Meta shares up by 1.6%. Nvidia negative by 1.5%. JetBlue's out with their numbers this week as well, and JetBlue up by 2.5%. That's interesting because I had an article pulled up here. Let me see if I can find it. Domestic travel. Do I have it? Yeah, domestic travel is waning. I got to find it. Yeah, here it is. So, U.S. airline CEOs. Plane tickets are getting cheaper as domestic travel demand weakens. Major carriers are turning to off-peak fare sales and cutting excess capacity in the second half of the year. And so, yeah, if you're looking for a little domestic travel, that's the deal. Airfare fell 5.3% in March from last year. Fares also dropped 4% in February. Corporate travel was trending up, but yeah, that's a different story from domestic travel. Now, JetBlue, I don't know, I used to love JetBlue. Part of me wants to say, come on, what do you have? Ackman's in there now with Pershing Square Capital, right? We go back. Where was his purchase? Maybe here? Was it last Wednesday? I'm trying to catch the acceleration. It probably was. We were traded from 360 to 415. He gave back some of it. But it goes over and over. My mom just traveled up to Boston, and she was traveling up there sometime last week. She flew back here on Sunday, yesterday, and it was a total mess when she was flying up there. Her flight was delayed by like 3 hours. It seems like they always got problems right now, JetBlue, and that's not what you want for your consumers to think that you're always going to have a problem. Nonetheless, JetBlue, they're out with their numbers this week, and you're up by 2.5% right now. We jump over to some of the other airlines. Delta shares up by 2% right now after falling from 70. We're at 42. United catching a bit, up by 2% as well right now. And American up by 1.2%. All the airlines catching a little bit of a lift. Walmart shares up by 0.5% right now. Target up by 0.6%. TJ Maxx up by 0.2%. Stay tuned, folks. One more segment. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We get the market in positive territory. S&P's holding on to gains up by 11 points right now. You see the acceleration up to 55.78. We've given it up a bit on the open, but nonetheless positive territory. NASDAQ 100, we drive to 19,623. We're almost 80 points off that price level right now, though. You jump to NVIDIA, we roll over to negative prices. Look at that selling on the open. Down by 1.8% for NVIDIA. We can't help but focus on Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple with their numbers. Meta up by 0.9%. Apple shares in the positive. Amazon barely in the green by 0.1%, and Meta up by 0.8% right now. We talk a little agriculture to end the program. And yeah, they're talking about agriculture, and you're talking about what China buys, and it is a big number, man. And if you remember when this first happened in the first Trump term, you had many of the agricultural producers, right, getting a handout from the government to help subsidize the losses they had when this first ratcheted up with China. We're going to see what happens, man. But yeah, it's happening again. Not surprising in terms of, you got a lot in terms of what China buys. Okay. Now scrolling up here. You see the acceleration up to 55.78. We've given it up a bit on the open, but nonetheless positive territory. NASDAQ 100, we drive to 19,623. We're almost 80 points off that price level right now, though. You jump to NVIDIA, we roll over to negative prices. Look at that selling on the open. Down by 1.8% for NVIDIA. We can't help but focus on Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple with their numbers. Meta up by 0.9%. Apple shares in the positive. Amazon barely in the green by 0.1%, and Meta up by 0.8% right now. We talk a little agriculture to end the program. And yeah, they're talking about agriculture, and you're talking about what China buys, and it is a big number, man. And if you remember when this first happened in the first Trump term, you had many of the agricultural producers, right, getting a handout from the government to help subsidize the losses they had when this first ratcheted up with China. We're going to see what happens, man. But yeah, it's happening again. Not surprising in terms of what China buys. Okay. Now scrolling up here. Yeah, no one can replace all the volume that China buys. Well, that's a farm operator. They're going to be biased, okay? But hear them out. And you look at some of these numbers, man. China made its biggest cancellation of pork orders since 2020. 12,000 tons is what order was put on hold, okay? You have a wood pulp and paperboard exporter, and these are just, we haven't really seen the impacts yet, right? We haven't seen the earnings, the companies, the real-time impacts of these tariffs yet. It's just starting, folks, okay? And there is the potential in certain areas especially. And you look at some of these, right? The immediate cancellation of 6,400 metric tons in a warehouse, 15 rail cars, okay? And yeah, that's saying, meanwhile, exporters said there's 9,000 metric tons on the water in China. They're going to arrive May 13th. And then you look at the port of Oakland. So this one's interesting. Oakland, okay, has basically 50-50 imports and exports. A lot of ports can keep it. We're quick. We're going to come back, folks. We're coming back tomorrow. Stay tuned for Basil coming up next. Have a great Monday, everybody. Thanks so much.